A question I'm getting pretty often these days, people want to know what happened to Dredge. Like, where's Dredge? Is Dredge coming back? Is Dredge good? Is it Dredge bad? I don't think Dredge is necessarily bad, but you're competing with Living End, and Living End is the real deal. And it's funny, we called Living End a joke for the last, 6 years, and all of a sudden now this blue Living End deck has become it's become a terror. I mean, they've gotten huge upgrades in the last few years between like better cards to cycle. They got subtlety that came from Modern Horizons 2. They also got access to Force Negation. Where's Force Negation in here? There's no way this deck is playing. Oh, we got Force of Vigor. This deck is not playing Force of Negation. Are you kidding me? What a new piece of tech here. Oh no, there it is. Oh my god. You almost gave me a heart attack for a second. Of course there's Force Negation in here. Because they can combo off at instant speed with Violent Outburst and Living End on somebody else's turn, and then they can protect their combo with Force of Negation. I was like, where's the... Now, that is interesting, though, that they put the Force Negation in the sideboard, and they're not even playing the full 4 copies. Maybe it's a budget list, for all I know. Maybe it's a budget list. But they have access to things like Bone Crusher Giant and Brazen Borrower, so they can interact on the earlier turns. In the former Living End decks, they only had access to, what was it, was it Shriekmaw? That's right, Shriekmaw. This was their only removal spell. Not a very versatile one either. You pay you pay. It's not bad, actually. It's really not that bad. It's not that. I'm not going to complain about this thing. And for 5 mana, you got a decent 3/2 sort of unblockable creature. And then you got all these usual suspects. And another thing, Curator of Mysteries, like, even if this deck doesn't combo off, you can still cast their cards. So you can reasonably cast things like Bone Crusher Giant and Brazen Borrower and Curator of Mysteries and just start beating your opponent down if they tried to go, like, super controlly on you. And then if they tap out to compete with your clock, that's when you Living End them to death. So we got first place Living End coming in the Modern Challenge. And so long as Living End is the big daddy of graveyard decks, I don't see other graveyard decks like Dredge coming up into prominence. Like, it's playable. It's playable, of course. But if you're one of those hardcore players, you're definitely going to be the player that's going to be on Living End. As that guy says, did you hear that a Mill deck won a Swedish Modern tournament with over 100 people? Said they saw lots of Vern and is a Delver. No doubt about it. I mean, I can totally believe it. Mill is totally a tier deck. Now, this is not the only deck here, but we'll talk about them in a second. Because first off, I gotta say good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. This is the most interactive MTG stream on the internet. And also, we do deck list reviews, so if you got a 75 you like some feedback on, hey, submit it to us, and both myself and the community would love to give you that feedback. So, brew up your cups of coffee, coffee crew. Let's brew up some Magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for October 4th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, Ty Bell. El Taco. Goku. Mastered Ultra Instinct. The Amazing Wally. Magus of the Bargain. MTG Ectoplasm, Tyler Roberts, Matt Waz, Kaya Cheese. I'm just going to call you Matt because it's really hard to pronounce the second half of that name. Wazix. Maybe I'll just call you Wazix. Wazix! Good morning, Cheese Person. Alex McGinnis. Naxter. Reminds me of Napster. Good morning, Mikey J, Aztec Guy, Trevor Just, Bearer, Alan, Jason. First Doys, Mareep. And Cithrone, we played your deck, Cithrone. We played your deck last weekend. You're just gonna have to wait for it to get published on the channel. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so there's some other. There's actually some other things we have to. Some other housekeeping we have to do. This is FusionGamingOnline.com, our sponsor. Today's sponsor. The same as the sponsor as every other day, but we can't forget the sponsors. Deal of the week this week. I believe this is the last day you can take advantage of this. 20% off all board games, be it Azul, Ticket to Ride, Legacy, Codenames, or Monopoly. We all talk about Monopoly. If you want that Monopoly strat, go check out the replays of the last week. I hope someone got enlightened how to play Monopoly, because it's funny. Everyone thinks they know how to play Monopoly, but they actually don't. They're terrible at it. But there's not even that much strategy to the game. But once you know the strategy, you just mop the floor with everybody else. It's not even hard. You can make it look easy once you know the basic strats of Monopoly. And of course, hey, 20% may sound like a bargain, but you can get an even better bargain with Fusion coupon code Nikachu. Get an extra 5% off at checkout. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. If Dredge is the best deck, you rent Dredge. If Living End is the best deck, you rent Living End. You can play the best deck at any moment in Modern with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. And I have confirmation that my coupon code Nikachu is back in force. For a few days it wasn't working. Now it's working. Okay, so there's a few cute other results in this Modern challenge. One of them being Jund Yawgmoth. You know, we associate the Yawgmoth deck strictly Golgari. So let's go take a look what they're doing with red, and it looks like not much. Okay, maybe it was just a no, they do have a red card. Okay. Magus of the Moon. This is why we're splashing a whole color. It has to be a really light splash. I mean, it's barely a splash. We have 1 Blood Crypt. Okay. Okay. So they want to have access to Magus of the Moon. Now, for what matchups? I don't have a damn clue. Maybe Amulet Titan? And, I mean, to be fair, you don't even need to cast this card in this deck. I mean, they play with Eldritch Evolution. They play with Chord of Calling. You just chord these things into play. Chord of Calling doesn't restrict you to, like, green cards like Natural Order does. Chord of Calling can go get anything. Now, this is, in my opinion, the most interesting result. Affinity. Really, Affinity. And nothing flashy. Nothing interesting. It's literally smooth brain Affinity. We got Frogmite, Ginger Brute, Memnite, Mirror Enforcer, Ornithopter, Signal Pest, Sojourner's Companion. How are these, like, not playable in the original Affinity deck, but now all of a sudden, you know, and this is actual Affinity. You know, they're using Affinity for artifacts. Thought Monitor, Galvanic Blast, Cranial Plating, Once Shadow Spear. Of course, they're going to have the Urza Saga. Oh, they're using Treasure Vault. Where it's, because it's an artifact land. I totally forgot that this thing is an artifact land. Definitely is going to be a snap include in a deck like this. So, smooth brain Affinity, very smooth, super smooth brain is going to get the job done. And I think, what is the cost of this deck? Oh, it's probably going to be a pretty penny only because of Urza Saga. Relic, Wear and Tear, Experimental Frenzy, Smooth Brain Affinity. If you love Affinity, you want to get back into that robot, get your robot groove on, do the robot on the dance floor. You got Smooth Brain Affinity here, made top 8 in the Modern Challenge. Top 8, and this is the Saturday Modern Challenge. We also have an Esper Reanimator deck here. I don't think it's going to be anything particularly unusual. Archon of Cruelty seems to be the Reanimator target these days. Muldrifter, Persist, Prismatic Ending. It's like more Esper control than anything else, but, you know, gets the job done. Gets the job done. Affinity had to have had the matchup luck for that top 8. Maybe. Or maybe it's something less than 300, it's budget friendly. Maybe it got lucky, or maybe there's something here. Honestly, like, no one, I don't remember anyone trying something like this. Just, like, so primitive. People are trying to be really fancy with these artifact decks. Like, even in my mind, I feel like this deck should play with Urza or something, but, like, why Muldrifter and Reanimator? Am I missing something? It's just good value. It's just a value card. So you either pay 3 mana for 2 cards, or when it's in the graveyard, and you can put it in the graveyard with something like Faithful Mending, you can reanimate it with, like, Unveilable Rites, or what are we missing here? Persist. There we go. Persist. And then you get, it's like a 3 for 1. You get a 1/1 you get a 1/1 flyer, and you get 2 cards. I'm sure it's a card drawing engine with the Reanimator package. So you don't need to reanimate a big fatty. You could just get value out of this thing. And that might be good enough. It's a really weird card. Man, if whoever bet money that Moldrifter would once see competitive Modern play, they made a killing. They made an absolute killing. Big time. Alright, you know the drill, everyone. 3 questions before the question. 3 question marks. 3 question marks after the question. Sorry, 3 question marks before the question. 3 question marks after the question. Helps me find your questions amongst all the questions I'm getting from all my social media channels. But if you're on YouTube watching on Nikachu MTG streams, you can donate with a super chat and your question gets pushed to the top of my feed. With Living End winning in Modern, which properties are the best in Monopoly now? And I cannot make a parallel between those 2 games. Way too different. Way too different. Mike J, so after last week, I'm up 3 wins in Monopoly, but I may be in for a loss in Divorce Court. You see, I told you, do not rob people in Monopoly. You cannot do, especially if it's going to be your wife. I mean, you got to make good deals. Because if you don't make good deals, they're going to turn on you. You see? They're going to turn on you. Mareep King, learning EDH politics and Monopoly politics is somewhat similar, I guess. Yes. But here's the deal in Monopoly. In EDH, you don't necessarily need to make deals. Ideally, you can, but you don't need to. But in Monopoly, you need to make deals. There's no way around it. Unless you get lucky to get a Monopoly, get all 2 or 3 properties of the same color, you need to make deals. You need to negotiate. And if you rob them, if you rip them off, people will not give you good deals in the future. They don't want to deal with you, and you'll always lose. If you cannot make deals, you got to make people feel like they get a good deal so that they do deals with you in the future. Make them feel like they didn't get ripped off. They lost because they got unlucky. Are you going to watch Worlds? Any player you think is going to win? I'm not going to watch Worlds. I would bet my money on Paulo Vitor Dominarosa, though. He's probably just the best player in the world. And that's not there's so much luck involved that, he doesn't, I don't know, he might have a 15% chance of winning, but that is catastrophically enormous compared to everybody else. In my opinion. Splash a color to play a card that wrecks my mana base seems boomer jundish to me. Nexter, should I run Giganta in mono Greentron in Modern? A lot of people do. I mean, so I would say this. If you don't have a good purpose for that 15th sideboard slot, if you're like, I don't know what to play in my 15th sideboard slot, just play Giganta. It's totally legitimate. It's totally legitimate. I think it's a good idea. It's not as impactful in that deck as companions are in other ones, but if you don't have a really good if you're tight on sideboard slots because, oh my god, you need these cards for this matchup, you need these cards for that matchup, do away with Giganta. But I think by default we should be running Giganta in mono Greentron. The Fairy Time Raveler. Supreme Verdict, Knowledge Pool, spot removal for manlands equals lock. Knowledge Pool? Knowledge. You know what's more important, my Lamborghini? Knowledge. Artifact, Imprint. When Knowledge Pool enters the battlefield, each player exiles the top 3 cards of his or her library. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it. If the player does, he or she may cast another non-land card exiled with Knowledge Pool. And you've got... Teferi Time Raveler. I don't think you need Supreme Verdict for this lock. But yeah, it looks like Knowledge Pool and Teferi Time Raveler is a lock. So whenever they cast... isn't the same thing with Teferi's Puzzle Box? Or maybe am I thinking of another combo? At the beginning of draw step... Oh, I'm thinking with Narset. That's a hell of a combo. Because you literally draw. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts the cards in his or her hand on top, on the bottom of his or her library in any order, and then draws that many cards. So you get like 1 card a turn if you have Narset out. But yeah, that looks like a lock. Knowledge Pool and Teferi Time Raveler. Well, I mean, you could have any removal spell, right? You don't get infinite. You don't have infinite Supreme Verdicts. If Paulo Vito Damarosa wins Elite Spellbinder, will be reprinted next year, maybe. We get to reprint your card, make it less valuable. That's how it is. Victor tried Yorion list that one last week. Shuffling, that is a nightmare. Oh yes. Welcome to EDH world. But some EDH players, they're really good at shuffling their deck. I mean, they shuffle it on the table more or less, but I'm very impressed. Very impressed. When are you going to do another top 10 deck list when I get around to making... maybe I'll make it today, but I still have editing to do. Like I'm trying to focus more on my main channel, but I need to just set up the new channel. It will be called Nikachu MTG Meta. So we're going to have another channel where we're going to have the top 10 deck list. We're going to have that news about the meta game that you guys all love, and my random rants. We'll have deck techs. Basically, everything that you knew the original Nikachu MTG for is going to be in the form of a new channel. A channel that I don't care what happens to it. Just like what happened with Nikachu MTG streams. I really don't care what happens to this channel. And it's growing not too bad. I think we're at 5,000 subscribers now. Are we at 5,000 subscribers here? What are we at here? Oh, it's so fucking close. 4.99. It looks like Nikachu MTG streams is for sale or something. $4.99 plus tax. But anyway, that's the anyway. Why so many channels? Because you know what? I came to realize. Here's the thing. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, but it actually can hurt your channel. My original Nikachu MTG channel is now just going to be videos. Like I'm just going to imagine if it's good today, then how do I put it? I'm not putting it on the channel unless I know it can be watched 10 years from now, basically. So what happens is if you've got videos that can die after a month, that can drag a channel down. So I don't mind having a channel that has just a bunch of dead content, because my channel, the only reason my channel is exploding right now is because there's like very little dead content on it. So anyway, we're gonna make a new dead content channel called Nikachu MTG Meta, and like whatever topics that come up, like who cares? Because you can't watch old videos. You can't watch about me talking about the problems of Hogak. You know what I mean? You're making a channel for organizational purposes? It's sort of. And in the long run, I don't know if the Nikachu MTG channel will still be exclusively about MTG. I'm going to be feeling it out, people, because we're gaining more Yu-Gi-Oh players. Those fucking Yu-Gi-Oh players are coming in. And make the videos exclusive? No, it would be better for me not to make it exclusive. Oh, Tybell says, appreciate your help on a deck review a few weeks ago. I play 4-color General Rakuric, and it has been doing well. It can beat most decks and rarely has losses that aren't close. Sweet stuff. Are you making a new channel just for it's double dip with people who subscribe to all your content? Well, I mean, not everyone on the Nikachu, like a lot, I would say hundreds of thousands of people who watch my Nikachu MTG channel, the original one, don't care for the deck techs. They don't care for any meta-analysis videos. A good chunk of them do care about the modern decks to beat, but there's like a lot of videos they just don't care about. So I'm just not going to present it to them. So it's going to be more of a niche. It's going to be a niche channel like it used to be. Nikachu chess, Nikachu poker. Yeah, I'm thinking about Nikachu chess. Nikachu poker is never going to happen. That ship has sailed. I'm not going to get better at poker, and poker I don't think is going to become more lucrative from here on out. First always, my friend's playing Vile Werewolves, and I'm trying to convince him to mainboard 4 Chalice. Is this a good recommendation, or am I crazy? It feels so nice since we rarely cast anything on 0 to 3 CMC. I mean, I think a lot depends on how many 1-drops this Werewolf deck is playing. If the Werewolf deck is not playing any 1-drops, yeah, I think this is a good idea. Play with Chalice. Good idea. Just like Eldrazi-tron. Ellen asks, Nikachu, do you use the pour over coffee technique? What about using a burr grinder. I don't grind. I use instant coffee. It may sound crazy, but this coffee is actually great. We don't mention their name here because I asked for sponsorship and they fucking said no. They wow, we're not sponsoring anyone right now at the moment, but we'll get around to you. Oh yeah, you'll get around to me when I have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You should believe in me in the beginning. Fusion Gaming believed in me in the beginning, and they're very happy. They're very happy right now. I can confirm Fusion Gaming, big winner out of supporting Nikachu MTG in the early days. It's paid dividends. What do we got here? Matt Wazix. Thoughts on Throne of Amethyst? Should more decks be trying to run it, or does it just not have a home? I don't think it has a home. I think its best home would be a Thalia deck. It's important to understand that Thalia, Garden of Thraben, is not even doing very well. You know, I mean, this is Amethyst, right? Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Let's look at Amethyst. It is a good card, but it needs a good home. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to play. So it's like, you know, Thalia on an artifact. But if Thalia is not that good, then I don't think this card is going to be that good. Also, keep in mind that, like, I mean, maybe this is a little bit better because Thalia can die. Thorn can't. So this will be literally a thorn in your side the entire game. No one laughed, but, you know, you smirked. We got some smirks out there. I can feel the smirks. The sly grins. The Emerald Boy. Storm the Festival lets you cheat both Possibility Storm and Teferi from an empty board. Good God. There you go. You hear that? Magus of the Bargain. You write down. You're writing notes? Actually, I'm not familiar with this combo. Cannot confirm that it works, but I'm just going to assume it does. No, Narset plus puzzle box equals no cards in your hand because you shuffle it, then can't draw. You don't get 1 card? At the beginning of each player's draw step. Oh, it's the draw step. It's not the upkeep. So you've drawn a card already. So you drew your first card, then you put all the cards back, and then you get nothing. You're right. True story, Mark Oliver. Now that's someone who knows their Teferi puzzle box Narset combo. No cards. And you get all the cards, right? Is Storm still viable nowadays? I want to say no, but someone got in contact with me and says, hey, I'm winning with Storm. Is it good? Like, well, if you're winning with it, you got to teach us what you know because everyone else is losing with it. It's like, it's a deck. You know, it's a deck, but it's definitely suffering big time. The day... Did anyone complain about about Storm anymore? Like, no one complains about Storm. Like, that's the deal. You know your deck is good if people complain about it. I haven't heard people complain about Storm in like 6 years. Storm is a very fair deck now. What do we got here? What the F is a Yu-Gi-Oh? Is it a game based on the Hanna-Barbera cartoon? No, it's called Yu-Gi-Oh! And I don't know what this game is based off of, actually. It's based off of Magic the Gathering, loosely. Streaming Monopoly is the clear answer. I mean, I might have some video game... I don't know if we can consider Monopoly a video game. I might have a video game channel. We're gonna have 1 million channels for Nikachu. Because I'm getting a Wii soon. Oh, sorry. I keep calling it a Wii. I'm getting a Switch soon. Because it's coming out on the 8th, the OLED version. And who knows? Maybe those VODs gotta go somewhere. I'm not really that deep into the video game scene right now, but I can get back. You can hear my review. Why I waited to get the OLED Switch. Because they screwed me over with the Wii U. I just bought the Wii U and then they came out with the Switch and I'm like, what the fuck did I buy this thing for? What did I buy this thing for? What was up with that, Nintendo? They got me. Nintendo's got me hook, line, and sinker for life. I can't switch. I can't pledge loyalty no matter how much they screw me over. Why does Worlds not include Modern? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they want to still hype up Standard, you know? Like, you know, Standard is not the most popular set, but it's still the set to encourage people to get into the game, sadly. Nikachu ASMR coffee brewing. It's just me turning on the kettle. You hear the water boil, and then you hear the water slowly. I guess you can hear the instant coffee grains hit the cup as well. Amazing Wally. You know, with all this Monopoly talk, maybe start running that instead of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on stream. It'd be done faster too. No, I have to beat that. I have to beat that game. I have to. No, I will not die happy until I beat that game. I got so disheartened. It's like I can't explain it to the people who aren't there, but it's like there's this invincible enemy, and there's like 8 of them I have to get through, and then I finally got through 8 of them, and then there was like another 8 beyond me, and I couldn't get past them. There's this narrow hallway, and I have nothing to do except like charge through them. How the hell do people beat this game without taking any damage? This is ridiculous. Would you ever do videos for Commander at least once a month? Not once a month. I could do something once every 6 months. I had one Commander video. It didn't do that well, but hey, maybe once a month I could do it, because I can just borrow the cards on Mana Traders. It'd be like 1 versus 1 Commander. Ain't there some coffee brands that do support content creators could consider getting a deal and drink that from now on? You know, the thing is, though, I want to advertise. I want to be a genuine influencer where, like, hey, I use this stuff. This is what I use. And if you want to use what Nikachu uses, you buy it. You know, I buy from FusionGamingOnline.com. I rent from Mana Traders. I don't want to necessarily, like, there can be exceptions to the rule if the brand is similar enough, but I would have to actually really like the coffee and then drink it on a regular basis for me to like promote it. That's the only thing. Challenge the CEO of that coffee company to a high stakes game of Monopoly. If you win, you get sponsored. If he wins, you sponsor them for free. Oh God, it may. Yeah, but like, I would think the guy should know how to play Monopoly. I mean, maybe not. CEO is a CEO. He's not an idiot. Do you think that Wizards will ever put Street Wraith into Historic? Yeah, I could see that. Totally. Don't make me get that rolled up newspaper. Oh man, I don't know what that was in response to. Oh, the bad pun. Does anyone know a good site to get decent yet cheap proxies? I want to put a few proxy decks together. Oh my god, my friend Rodney Top 8 Thompson. Can't you, like, I don't know, can't you just look up Wish or something? Get a good site to get decent yet cheap proxies. I swear Wish will probably do it for you. I don't know if you can still do it on eBay. I personally don't buy proxies. But if you want to help Cody Kale, I will not be offended. Can't remember. There's some... Oh, I want proxy elementals. I've almost completely run out of elementals for Patreon. I've been giving out elementals for 5 years. I should calculate how many elementals I've given out. And I'm almost now completely at the bottom of the barrel. Like, I'm done with all the real elementals. Oh, man. I really... Do you know what I could really use some help? Ripping this off. Someone gave me these. If that person can come forward and help me get a lot more of these, I would love it. They gave me like 50 of these things, and I think this is an awesome Patreon like sort of reward. It's foily. It's gorgeous, actually. It's just amazing. But the problem is I'm running out of these damn things. And it was made on Make Magic cards, but I don't have the original image. If whoever made this damn thing, please come forward. Save my ass. I need this thing again. And then I'm going to buy like 1,000 of these so I don't have to deal with this again. But anyway, Make Magic card. Sorry, make. It was like, I think it was called MakePlayingCards.com or something like that. But I need the image. This was so cool. Yeah, it's a Master of Waves token, but it made for an excellent like signed thing. Mm-hmm. Best budget competitive modern deck under 201. Is it $201 or $20? $201 in paper? Mono red prowess. My answer to all these questions is always gonna be mono red prowess. You're gonna spend most of your money on like Soul Scar Mage for the most part. Trinisphere? Under what condition? Oh, you mean Trinisphere instead of the Thorn? Trinisphere could see play in Modern. I think actually Trinisphere is not too bad, but it's got to be in the right. It's got to be in the right deck. It's still a little bit tough because the removal. It needs to be in a. Okay, how about this? Trinisphere is playable in Modern, but then you got to think, what creatures can you play in this deck that get out of range of Lightning Bolt? So even if they play Bolt for 3, if they play Bolt for 3 mana, it doesn't kill anything, and also dodges Fatal Push for the most part. So I think that's the question that you have to answer if you play Trinisphere. I think Trinisphere is actually quite an interesting, underrated card. Underplayed because it's hard to make use of it, because like even if you play Trinisphere and you're still playing creatures that die to Lightning Bolt, they'll still play 3 mana, kill this thing. They'll still play 3 mana like Fatal Push, so it's not that bad. Richard White says, proxies is an edgy topic, but they're out there. I actually ordered some Proxy Kaladesh inventions, and my local game store employees didn't realize. Oh, God. Well, don't try to pass them off as real cards, but I can totally understand people playing proxies. Like I was playing Power Cube with a friend, and he proxied the Black Lotus and the Moxes. Like, and I think that's very, very reasonable. Or any other stupidly expensive like reserve list card for your EDH deck that you're playing with your friends. And mind you, most people they're just proxying it temporarily, and they slowly work towards the real cards. From my experience, I don't know. Most of the people I know that have proxies, they usually work towards the real cards. It's just like a temporary placeholder until they do. Yeah, when was the last time someone complained about Merfolk? Exactly. We need to get back into a position where people are complaining about us. I remember when Nikachu ban board had Ancient Stirrings on it. The ban board? I don't remember a ban board. And also, I've never called for the banning of Ancient Stirrings. I've called for the banning of a lot of other things, though. Kyron, if Merfolk weren't a tribe in Magic, which deck or tribe would you think you'd play in Modern? Probably Spirits. I might be a Spirits or Humans player by now. I mean, that's if we're choosing a tribe. Otherwise, I might be a blue-red tempo, some sort of tempo or control player. I could totally see myself being like playing like Murktide. Or is it Murktide right now? There's a Monopoly game for the Switch? Alright, we might be playing Monopoly on the Switch. There should be music today. Is there no music? Does people hear nothing? What's going on here? Hold on. Has no one heard anything this entire time? Okay, you should be able to hear something now. 1,000,000%. There's music. There's music. The music is super quiet. It might be quieter than usual, because I'm purposely making it a little bit more quieter. When I was listening to it myself, I was listening to Coffee and MTG. I'm like, God, this is loud. Like, this is so loud. You should be hearing me. The music should be like background noise, not the other way around. I was the background noise. So anyway, so we've definitely turned the music down. It was going on like that for a year, and I'm like, how has this been going on for so long? And no one told me that it's like, well, I mean, some people said it's too loud, but then at some point, you know, we get like, I have hundreds of people watching, and you know, they're not complaining anymore, and like, well, whatever. Music got louder when you weren't talking. The mix and volume was fine. All right. There's some sort of how do I put it? something going on in the background where if I don't talk, they're boosting the sound of the music. Kaya can attest to good quality from makeplayingcards.com. Might take a while because it ships from Hong Kong, but I had a power cube made and it looks really good. Just change the card back. That's right. So, hold on, did you literally give them the face of cards? Get out of here before Wizards hears about that. They're not gonna like hearing that makeplayingcards.com is doing that. We're gonna quickly that conversation didn't happen. Make playing cards gonna be in trouble. How do you learn to be better in the combat phase in MTG? You know what could help? If you draft a lot. I mean, that might not be the greatest answer either, because you need to learn how to draft so you even have a remote chance. Okay, how about this? You gotta play decks that play in combat more often. That's the key. This is like a cop-out answer, but the key is practice. Practice, practice, practice. Now, I will mention this one thing. Like in combat, you just have to, if you attack, try to imagine in your head, what are the best blocks for your opponent? And then make the attack that, make yourself an attack where your opponent has like the worst possible blocks. Like they don't have that many good options, or not, they don't have a good option. That's the attack you got to make. Now, the other factor that you got to think about is, what can your opponent play in the middle of combat? Like before blocks, after blocks? What if they use a removal spell? You have to consider those things too. Because if your opponent has any open mana up and a lot of cards in hand, you better believe they got a removal spell. So whether you're attacking or blocking, you have to consider that. And just a reminder, you don't have to attack. And sometimes you don't need to block. So consider those options if you don't think that you can beat removal spells in the middle of combat, or combat tricks, as we would say. Combat tricks, as us extinguished people would call it. From Banjo Mario medley songs you play, what's your favorite? My favorite? Oh, just between Banjo and Mario? Because my favorite is this one. Where's my favorite is this one. I love this one. This Pokemon Sun and Moon apparel shop mix. I think this is awesome. But, and it has to be Mario based. I think maybe the next one is Toad's Turnpike. Or sorry, no, Toad's Factory. This is a real hype song. What do you think about the disturb mechanic in Modern? Is card advantage not important enough in Modern to justify the mana costs? I think the problem is most of the disturb cards are not that good. Like the front half is not good, the back half is not really that good. Like card advantage is important, but like the card also has to be good in itself, and the disturb cards are just not that great. Oh, the Holy Trinity, the Faithless Eluding Mox Opal and Ancient Stirrings. Only one remains. Would a champion of the perished type of merfolk be a good one drop? Yes! Yes, it would. This is what I've been complaining for like for a million years. I've been demanding, give me this champion of the perished merfolk. Everyone else has a good one drop. Merfolk doesn't have jack squat. And who else would play this one drop? Only merfolk. Only merfolk would play this one drop. No one else. We are here for the music. Nikachu is just background noise. Maybe I should have some like 24/7 stream of my like playlist. I might make some money doing that. Did you watch the Nintendo Direct? See anything that you're interested in? I didn't actually, because the only thing that's got on, I have on my mind is Mario Maker. I'm Mario Maker all the way. I'm very hungry to play this game. I really love this for the Wii U. It's the only thing I played on the Wii U. I don't really care for making my own levels. I sort of do, but like whatever. I just rather play other people's levels. So I'm very waiting patiently to get this game for the Switch. Also waiting patiently to get a switch. Flipping Delver turn 2 in the new draft format has led to a ton of salt. I would imagine. Delver has to be like such an awkward card in draft. Because in limited, ideally you have a lot of creatures. Well, okay, that's not necessarily true. I mean, you can make a pretty good control-ish deck with a few bomb win conditions and a bunch of spells. Like, but you still need to draft all the instants and sorceries to to pull that off. Mikey J says, drafting teaches you to win with bad decks that don't work, which is perfect for learning to play constructed decks that do work. Don't know if that's entirely true. Who is your favorite pro player, even if it's from back in the day? Mine would be Patrick Chapin. Mine... I think I admire Sam Black quite a bit. I think he's got like a rock solid opinion on a lot of Magic cards. He can just see problems before they happen. He can see the power of decks before other people do. Like, he was on Lantern Control before it got super, super popular. He was on Amulet Titan before it got super, super popular. Or, sorry, Bloom Titan, as it was at the time, before it got super, super popular. He knew Oko was getting banned. He was the first person I ever read that said Mox Opal was a ban-worthy card. And that was years before anyone... I think it was like a full year before I brought it up. And it would be still years before other people would like throw in the towel on it as well. So that's my favorite pro player. When I played against Sam Black in the top 8 of Grand Prix Vancouver, I told him he was the best player in the world. He just sort of gave a slight chuckle and said, I don't think so. Do you like the goofy SNES, the old music? Yes, I like all this. I like all the music. I like the video game-ish music. Which is the best one-drop creature in Modern? It's probably Dragon Rage Chandler. That's probably the best one-drop right now in Modern. Oh, Benji Boy with a super chat. Your thoughts on Is It? Mono Red Blitz in Modern. Both are very good. I mean, I would lean towards the Is It being the better one because it just has by far the more consistent, better results in the long run. But Mono Red is fine. Is It for sure is solid, though. I think it is... I mean, it's not up there like it used to. But let's see how far it's fallen. Okay, how far is it? Blitz is not far from the top. So I think this is representative of how popular it is, not how strong it is. I think it's a very strong, solid deck still. This deck is so... Whoa! What is this? This is not... No! This is not the deck I'm talking about. You don't even belong in the same category. Let's look for a good list. Here, 24... this is... They're just throwing anything in here. Okay, these results are tainted as hell. There we go. This is what I was talking about, but it only has a 5-0 in a league. I don't think this is that bad. Especially with the upgrades like Dragon Rage Chandler. If Splinter Twin would be unbanned, what other combo decks would still beat Splinter Twin? Maybe Living End. I think maybe Living End would have a good shot against Splinter Twin because they could interact at instant speed. They could, like, Violent Outburst, instant speed, Living End, wipe all your tokens away, and then that'd be it. I think that combo deck would do it. You guys gotta use the question marks. Which is the best blue one-drop creature in Modern? I really don't want to say it's a Merfolk. What's the best one blue drop? It's not Delver. Delver is actually just quite trash right now. I don't think it's Merfolk's Secret Keeper. What is the best blue? I mean, it might be a Merfolk at this point. It might be a Merfolk. Clearly Fairy Seer. I don't think so. The crab, maybe. Yeah, maybe one of the crabs. One of the crabs would do it. Gale Rider Sliver. That card, very underrated. Sliver's just underrated as hell in Modern. Very, very underrated. Oh, maybe Mausoleum Wanderer might be the best one. That's a pretty good one. I like Mausoleum Wanderer a lot. It's basically Curse Catcher on steroids that flies. I'd like to say Hard Evidence, but that's a spell, not a creature. Because otherwise, maybe it's the Mill Crabs. Oh, No, I don't think I'd actually give it to Slippery Bogle. Would not give it to Slippery Bogle. Alright, you hear the music. And now you see the Decklist command. It's time for Decklist review. Alright, so if you want to be eligible for your Decklist to be featured on this channel and also get reviewed, we can use !review deck space, give the URL to your Decklist, and boom, you'll be eligible for Decklist review. I think, okay, maybe I can, I think you can, I'm trying to think if people, if they want to paywall, if they want paywall Decklist review, they can PayPal me like $25. Maybe I should make a new banner. And it wouldn't be featured today, but in the future, you'd be put in a, you'd be, as I get the emails, to paypal.me/Nikachu MTG. I think this is it. I would be open to trying a paywalled Decklist review. So right now we're still doing real Decklist review, but now we're setting up paywall Decklist review. I mean, I don't know how to set this thing up yet on like Patreon. Maybe I will have a command. Maybe I'll literally have a tier there eventually. But until then, I think if you ship me 25 US and give me a link to your deck list in the comments, you got to give me a link to your deck list. You will be guaranteed. You'll be guaranteed a review on Decklist review. You'll be guaranteed. And you get a match. You get one match. So that's how, yeah, we're going to make the, well, I don't know about the big bucks. But we're slowly monetizing Decklist review. But if I get any donations today, or a Decklist today, then it won't be shown until next day. And I would only do one a day. So, I mean, if I get 5 lists, then we'll do it one a day until I get through all of them. And then we'll do, oh god, I hope I don't get like 20 orders, you fuckers. I have no idea what kind of can of worms I'm opening here. I mean, it's possible I will just spend my entire weekend playing Decklist review decks. It's possible. Will the count of normal Decklist? Yes, it will. Absolutely will. It'll go from 2 a day to 1. That's what you get for free. Free sucks. Alright, let's look at some deck lists. Instead of 2 a day, we'd only be doing 1 a day. Levis! Or Levy. Levy. Levo. Or Levy. Yeah, 20 orders of 20 orders. Only, well, please give me 1 at a time. It would be, I mean, that's possible. Maybe I screwed up my clause there. Was the banner correct? Yeah, paypal.me/. I believe that's it. 20 orders. $500. Alright, we've got the Bant Teferi engine. I like that. That's cute. It is Bant. What's the format? It's the format is standard. Alright, get your standard goggles on, everyone. We've got Tangled Florahedron, which is a mana dork for 2 mana. Wow, mana dorks. Back in my day, but it's a land as well. But back in my day, mana dorks were 1 mana and added 1 mana. Primal Adversary. We got Wolfie here. Trample. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay 2 any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, put that many counters on this, then up to that many target lands you control become Wolfies with haste until end of turn. No, they just become wolves. Yeah, that's right. You send the US dollars. I don't send my Canadian shit here. I don't even believe in my own shit. I will ask for American because it's worth more to me. It's worth a lot more. Could I do a full episode of reviews? No. I mean, depends. If I had too many, then maybe I would. I would just extend. Maybe I would just extend it. Let me tell you, at $25 a pop, and I would spend up to 15 minutes doing a review, I will fucking do it for forever. $100 an hour, baby. I would definitely be doing this. It would be worth my time. Okay, so we've got Accomplished Alchemist. Another mana dork. Add X mana of any one color where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Teferi who slows the sunset. This is new Teferi, but I think the point is you get to untap. So, fuck, I can't read this Teferi. +1, choose up to one target. No wonder I can't read it. Even when we're up close, it's blurry as hell. Do you see this? This is the worst scan of all time. Choose up to one target creature. It's like a meme almost. You know, it's like a deep-fried planeswalker. Choose up to one target artifact, up to one target creature, and up to one target land. Untap those permanents you control. Tap the chosen permanents you don't control. You gain 2 life. Okay, this actually helps your, like, wolf synergy. Tap your opponent's creatures. You can untap your own. And also -2, you can look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. It's like Ponder. Commander deck review for $50? Absolutely not. If you send me a commander deck, I'm sending your money back. Sending the money back. Gonna get an SNES controller for the Switch? Absolutely not. It doesn't make any sense. So Roman, what do you have to say? Accomplished Alchemist plus Teferi plus Lithoform Engine equals infinite mana and HP finished by adversary or Hydra land. So, okay, so we add any mana, Teferi and Lipo Engine. Copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Oh, so we're going to copy this ability to untap, and then we get... does that work? Copy target activated or triggered ability. You may choose new targets. Copy target instant. So you oh, I see. So you copy this, you untap the Lithoform Engine, and then you do it again. Hold on, though. Why does this work? Because the ability has to resolve. And then after it resolves, there's nothing to copy again. See, okay, so like, let's say you add mana, and then you act, and you can't even copy anything yet. Oh, copy resolves. Okay, so you activate this thing, target this and this. With that on the stack, you copy it. The copy untaps this and this. Teferi's original ability is still on the stack. Okay, got it. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, the copy resolves first. Got it. Faithful Absence. Okay, so what are you doing with infinite mana? Like, what do you want infinite mana for? This looks like very much a control deck. Faithful Absence, destroy target creature. Saw it coming. Behold the multiverse. Okay, so you can use the infinite mana with, or you can use a lot of mana to use it here. I don't know if you need it, though. Doomscar. Destroy all creatures. Elrond's Epiphany. I mean, this some of these spells are very expensive. Okay, this you can use. No, you still can't use infinite mana with this. I do it in EDH, I swear it works. I still can't take people's word for it, because there are interactions people have been doing for years, and then they learned in the end, oh no, this doesn't actually work. Just worked with your friends. You should have stipulations as well. No commander or brawl. Only use sites that have a decent format. No, if they pay me, we'll do it even on deck stats, even though I hate deck stats. But, that income can screw your taxes. No, I mean if I refund them, it's not a big deal. I mean I just refund them. It will be, well, I mean I doubt I'm gonna get thousands of dollars coming in. I don't think it'll be a big deal. I keep a good close tie to how much I'm earning on a spreadsheet. But I appreciate the concern. I really don't see the... Honestly, I don't see the point of this. What else are we doing with... Oh, you can copy target instant or sorcery spell. That is actually very useful. Okay, so you have access to infinite mana, but I think it's stupid. Like, I don't really see a big purpose for the infinite mana thing. Now, I don't mind the Tangled Florahedron because you can just randomly have this on the battle. It can be a land. You randomly have this in your deck, and you cast it. Add X mana of one color, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Like, I don't really believe in this card. Yeah, gets 100 orders in the first day. Let me look at my phone. Did anyone submit shit, like, on the spot? For all I know, I'm getting orders as we speak. Nope, we didn't get a flood of orders. Paywall Decklist review is still doing okay. Rudy from Alpha Investments wants his 50 Legacy deck reviewed. Infinite Mana plus Secret Door is a win. We don't have Secret Door in here. But I don't... So here's the deal. I think you got a very clean deck list. I actually like this deck list a lot. I would actually prefer you to have more interaction early on in the game. I find that you actually don't have anything to do early in the game. You have like Tangled Florahedron to play on turn 2, and you have Fateful Absence. But that's about it. You should probably have more things to do on the earlier turns. Because you're probably going to just get... If you're on the draw, I see you just getting crushed. I actually honestly just see you getting crushed. You don't have any interaction. Like, if you can get here, that's not too bad. You probably should have 4 Doom Scars. You should go turn 2. Oh, you have to... During your turn, you may pay 2. Yeah, you should probably have 4 Doom Scars. And I know this is going to mess with your Florahedron, but you don't have any interaction. Like, you have so little interaction in this deck. You're just going to get raced by anything and everything. And I understand it's standard. It's a slower format. But still, like, you're starting the game sort of on turn 2. Like, if you're on the play, this is going to work. But on the draw, I think you're just going to get rolled really hard. And also, maybe this deck could use Bind the Monster, maybe. But I think going up on all the Doom Scars would be a huge help, because you can turn 2 Doom Scar, turn 3, reasonably blow everything up. Like, I think that's better than... Isn't there another... Hold on, what is this? This is your win condition. Create 2 birds. Take an extra turn after this one. This is good. I like this card. Hydra Land, which is a Hydra Land, a lair of Hydra. Till end of turn, lair of Hydra becomes XX green, Hydra creature. It's still land. X can't be 0. I don't mind throwing one of these into the deck somewhere. I actually don't mind throwing that in the deck, like over the forest. It's better than the forest, right? If you control 2 or more other lands. Yeah, so this is actually better than the forest, because you're not afraid of Blood Moon anyway. Maybe you're afraid of Field of Ruin, but you know what? You should probably have instead of the forest, you should play with this Lair of the Hydra, because it will combo with your infinite mana. Mono green is the best, most popular deck in standard. Then we, okay, what removal do we have access to on earlier stages of the game? Oh, they have Lair of the Hydra. Alright, screw it. We have all the Lair of the Hydras here to make use of the infinite mana. My fear is that this deck is going to have trouble curving out. I mean, if you can go turn 2 Tangled Florahedron and then play Accomplished Alchemist, that's not too bad. Okay, we have all this. So all the removal is in the sideboard. Okay, then I'm gonna say this. I think then you it looks like you have all the right cards. You have portable hole, candle trap, sunset revelry. It looks like you've got all the cards. I actually like the list a lot. I think it's pretty cool. The only deal I would have is pay attention to like what you're up against. If you're up against a lot of creature-based decks and you can't even curve out, you should be moving your sideboard into the main deck and some of your main deck cards back to your sideboard. If I were not mistaken, you should actually probably be less on the green. Like, I don't know exactly what you change, because I think you should have like a decent, like maybe 6 mana dorks in the deck, so you can have some chance of infinite mana with Lithoform Engine and Teferi Who Slows the Sunset. And I think you have enough ways of finding other stuff, but I really think you should have more interaction at a lower curve. Doesn't infinite mana work? Yeah, it works with any mana dork. We do have, well, how many 2-drop dorks are there in the format? Because these cards are pretty sus. I think both of these cards are pretty sus. I mean, no, well, Primal Adversary is not bad. Honestly, 3 mana for a 4/3 creature, I mean, you could almost use that as a removal spell. Just like to block things. Reina, welcome. Yeah. 4 Doomscar to kill all the potential blockers. You don't need to. You can tap all the opponent's creatures with Teferi. No, but the point is, your Teferi's not going to come out before you die. Like you might be under a lot of under a lot of damage. I think Doomscar actually works really well with this deck. I would prefer to have 4 Doomscars in this deck because it does work really well with Lair of the Hydra. Works really well. Doesn't work well with your mana dorks. I understand. But I really... Well, anyway, I can totally see this deck getting completely rolled. But you have the answers in the sideboard. So my only suggestion would be... Well, I still believe in the 4 Doomscars. Am I not mistaken? Let's quickly look at Standard. What's the metagame in Standard? How do I get out of here? Okay, this is a control deck. This is an aggro deck. This is an aggro deck. This is some ramp deck. Gruul Werewolves. Sultai Ramp. Okay, so it seems to be there's like a mix of creature-based decks and ramp decks. Because I doubt these decks are going to roll you over. Because you might just be racing them. Also, if you put the combo, you have infinite life. Alright, true story. Like, I have nothing against this card, really. Although I think 4 copies feels like a lot. Feels like a lot. You have a lot of 4-drop. Like, the curve is clunky. The curve is very, very clunky. It's really clunky. That's my concern. And you've got the mana-efficient cards in the sideboard. But, I understand some of them are really dependent. Like, I wouldn't have Sunset Revelry in the main deck. I might have Portable Hole, though. I don't think that's a bad card to have in the main. No, you need 3+ mana for infinite mana combo, 1 mana for land, 1 mana from Dork. Only Dorks that give 2+ mana are Alchemist and the Elves one. Damn, Red and Sem is already $1 million. Bind the Monster is a cheap answer for creature-based formats, but it still deals damage to you. I don't mind it, though. I really don't mind it. But if this deck can get away with, like, Candle Trap, I think that's totally fine, too. Okay, so, I think this is a cool deck. I think it's a cool deck. Really good idea. Just pay attention to your results. And if you're getting beat down by, like, aggro decks, then you have to move your sideboard cards into your main and some of the main deck cards into the sideboard. That's my recommendation. So good luck with it. Good luck with the deck. Clean list, still, either way. We got Deathwing with the message. Deathwing, congratulations, you're the next contestant on Decklist review. And you're giving us a list by Saffron Olive. A modern list by Saffron Olive. Let's see what's going on in the genius of of the olive. Frost Titan. That's a card I haven't heard in a long time. Date deck. What? This was submitted like many years ago. Oh my god, it is brutally cheap at 9 ticks. All right, let's look a look. So I'm gonna say this is budget. It's budget. I understand. Okay, it's okay. Let's look at it through the lens of Magic: The Gathering Online. Or maybe we just go back to tabletop. I mean, it's under $100 still. So Frost Titan, underrated card. Lightning Bolt, Serum Visions, Remand, Anger of the Gods, Wildfire. I played against this deck in the Modern Leagues once. Because Wildfire is a pretty good card. Target player sacrifices 4 lands, deals 4 damage to each creature. Like, if you've stabilized the board and you play Wildfire, it's game over, baby. It's game over. They're never coming back from that. Is it Signet? Mind Stone? And of course, you're going to have mana because you got the Signets and stuff. Annex, Enchant. Oh yeah, this is, I forgot, this is more of a Ponza deck. And then we've got Dream Leash, Enchant Permanent. You may play Dream Leash only on a tapped permanent. You control Enchanted Permanent. Weirdest Ponza deck ever. I don't think there's anything better than these cards. 9 Island, Mikokoro, Center of the Sea, Mountain, and Sulphur Falls. So if you have better lands like Scalding Tarn available, then just use those. Tormod's Crypt, Dispel, Repeal, Vandal Blast, Negate, Roast, Anger the Gods. This is actually a pretty good list. I remember playing against this in the leagues back at the time. I don't want to say back in the day because it was only 3 years ago. But Saffron Olive did influence people to play this thing. Yeah, each player sacks. Each player sacks 4 lands. But you're gonna have lands because you stole their lands. Between Dream Leash and Annex. You stole them. I wonder if a deck like this would play Fire and Ice today. Just to slow the game down, draw a card, and also interact early on in the game. And then, of course, Frost Titan. If you know what Frost Titan is, it's when it enters the battlefield or attacks tap target permanent, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. I wonder if this deck would play Pillage today. I wonder if it would play Pillage. I don't know if this deck needs to steal lands. Like, let's say this deck played like Pillage and Stone Rain. Would that be so much worse? It wouldn't be good on the curve because this curves out to 4 mana really quickly. And the funny thing is this deck would the funny thing about this deck, I mean, I guess it's harder to curve into 6 mana if you're not stealing their lands. Because it looks like a control deck at first, people will be inclined to tap out to, like, you know, compete with the control deck. But then boom, you start stealing their lands, and then before you know it, like, their entire board is getting locked down. I don't know. Does anyone know any, like, minor upgrades? Because I don't know anything. Mind Stone is good. Is it Signet is fine. I thought there was another Mind Stone-like card that maybe people could use. Like a 2-mana ramp card that is not a Signet. Because I don't think the Signet is all that necessary. Or maybe it is. Like, the mana base could be better. Like, you could play with fetch lands. You could play with more than Sulphur Falls. You could play with, like, what's it called? Filter lands. Destroying lands would help graveyard decks and Dragon Rage Chandler. Well, those decks already put lands in the grave. If you're talking about Delirium, I think those lands already go to the graveyard anyway, because of fetch lands. Play Counterspell. You see, Counterspell doesn't work as well as Remand in this list. Because the idea is not to grind out your opponent's resources like Counterspell would. The point is to stall the game till you can get to 4 mana, and then you start stealing their lands. And then you wildfire them all away. And then whatever's left that got through Counterspells, you just tap it down with Frost Titan. Because whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, tap target permanent, it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. And it's really hard to kill the Frost Titan because you have to pay a tax of 2, which is hard because you don't have any lands to work with. Expressive Iteration? Instead of what? Instead of Serum Visions? Maybe it's better than Serum Visions. Expressive Iteration. I could get behind that. Expressive Iteration is a pretty good card. Talisman of Creativity? Is that... I think that's 3 mana, isn't it? It's not 3 mana. But why is this better? This will deal damage to me. Oh, but it can add mana without having to add... I actually don't think Talisman of Creativity is better than the Signet. I think the Signet is better. It's like it filters any random land. And doesn't deal damage to you. Consider doesn't look as deep as Serum Visions. I'm totally fine. I'm fine with playing Expressive Iteration though instead of Serum Visions. I think that's sort of I think that's okay. Maybe it's not so good. The only problem is because we have a lot of things to do at 2 mana, right? Remand, is it Signet, Mind Stone, but we don't have anything to do on turn 1. We have like very little few things to do on turn 1. Maybe better than Bolt is Unholy Heat if we can somehow get some cards. I mean, we can get Mind Stone in the graveyard. In this list it wouldn't work because we don't have any ways of getting a creature or land in the graveyard. Magus of the Bargain. Counterspell is almost always better than Remand. Maybe not in some situations, but a hard counter is great for low-cost spells, so if you want to play 4 Remand, 4 Counterspell, that might work. That might work. That might work. But I would say... But I would argue against the always better part than Remand. I think Counterspell is... Remand is better in a deck that's not trying to grind their opponent out of their cards. Like, they don't have no intention of winning, like exhausting all their opponent's resources and then turning the corner. They're going to turn the corner before that. That's why I think Remand works in this deck, because you just delay the turn, you're drawing more resources, you draw a card, you hit your land drops, then you like steal their lands, or you wildfire everything away. Or you play a Frost Titan. Strike it rich. Never heard of this card. Create a treasure token, flashback. Oh, it's like a ramp spell. Eh. The 1 mana Spreading Seas, Seas Claim. Well, Seas Claim doesn't actually steal a land from them. That's the point. This deck steals lands. Trevor says, Herd Memory Lapse is better than Counterspell. Depends. It can be. It's hard. This is an old deck. It's hard to find an improvement. I mean, I bet... It all comes down to like how necessary these cards are. They're ramp spells, though. It's like a 4 mana tempo swing ramp spell. You know what I mean? Anyway, I actually don't have any improvements. I mean, change Tormod's Crypt probably to Relic of Progenitus and make the mana base more consistent. Like, this is like the bare bones of what's consistent. Probably could have some random fetch lands in here that... Like, just a few Steam Vents could make the difference. This is just a budget, super budget mana base. But if you have a better mana base, I'm sure the rest of this would fall in place a lot better. Although I'm sure Izzet Signet helps a bit. But that's going to be it for today. So thank you very much for submitting the list. It's a cute list. I've seen it around. And, well, anyway, that's going to be it for Coffee and MTG. So, if I didn't get your comments, questions, or deck list, we're here Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. And, what else do we have here? Oh, if you'd love to support the channel and you don't do so already, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You could become a patron at patreon.com. Or you can hit the join button on YouTube. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for making me a part of your daily routine. So keep brewing up those coffees, Coffee Crew, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Gotta stay on top of that.